Series 5 finally has a release date of the 6th of October this year. Now, I love Ghosts. I know at the moment I'm reacting to every Horrible History song ever, and I've never watched that before, but Ghosts I love. I'm excited for the final season. It's sad that it's the final season, but I'm also excited to see where they go, how they wrap it up in a lovely bow. Now, I've seen theories all around TikTok recently, so I thought what we'll do in this video is I'm going to talk through the two most popular theories I've seen on TikTok, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on how I think Ghost Series 5 should end. This isn't how I think it will end. I don't know how it will end, obviously. But this is how I think it should, in my opinion, end. Now, the theories going around on TikTok. The main ones I've seen that really get to me is that Alison dies, or Mike dies, or they both die. Like, there's theories that Alison will die but get moved on straight away, and then Mike will suddenly somehow be able to see ghosts but won't be able to see Alison, which, if that happens, I'll cry. Not in the way that you'd want me to. There's ones that Mike will die, but still be as a ghost, and then Alison will be able to see Mike, or Mike will die and move straight on. Like, there's a lot of unnecessary dying going on in Ghost Series 5 theory world at the moment. The only one that isn't outrageous for someone to die, and I cannot remember their name. What's the old guy that Alison hates? Can you remember his name? You know, if you're watching this video, because you know ghosts. The neighbour, Alison and Mike's neighbour, who they first wanted to die, and then realised they didn't want him to die, because then that means he'd be in the house forever. He might die, and that's fine, but Alison and Mike, they don't need to. Stop saying they'll die, because these sort of things happen where you're just trying to make it sad for unnecessary reasons. Like, there's already enough that is going to make Ghost Series 5 really emotional without unnecessarily saying Mike and Alison should die. Why would they possibly do that? I've also seen a theory, there's a shot in the trailer of a clock, very dramatic music, and the clock striking 12, and people are saying that's when all the ghosts are going to get moved on, or sucked off, should you say. Again, like, I can see why you're saying that, I can see the symbolism there. And Parker made a very good point that that's probably why they've done that in the trailer. But that's not how ghosts work. We've only seen one main ghost get sucked off so far, and that being Mary last season. Was it last season Mary got sucked off? It was, wasn't it? And have we seen any other ghosts get sucked off? Even, like, of the main cast? Was it Mary? Mary's mate Annie, that was it. We've seen Annie get sucked off, and we've seen Mary get sucked off. And it's not like... I don't think it's really been said fully, the criteria to get sucked off. This is never not going to be funny, just saying the word sucked off multiple times. But they're basically, it's like, oh, when they get their big reveal off their chest or something, like, the reason they haven't gone straight to, like, death, they've given this second life. Once that's gone, they go.
That's not strictly true.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We haven't got a the creators have not given us a defined, this is when someone gets sucked off, because we've seen, like, take Robin for example. Robin is now pretty much, again, as far as we know, Robin is a completely open book. We've had his episode. He's talked about his death. We know he got struck by lightning. He's talked about what it was like in Button House for years and years and years without anyone there. We know it before, but, like, we know everything that, you know, we think we know about Robin, and yet he's still here. I mean, so that criteria doesn't seem to work, so not knowing what the criteria actually is for someone to get sucked off in Ghosts kind of makes this a very difficult prediction. But what I could probably guarantee is that they're not all going to get sucked off at the same time. There's this picture from the trailer where they're all sort of stood, I think Captain's in the middle, and you've got everyone around looking really, really somber. And people are going, I think that's the moment everyone gets sucked off. But I think if they all get sucked off at the same time, I think A, it'll potentially lose some of its impact, and B, kind of ruin some of the lore of Ghosts. Like, why would they all get sucked off at the same time? The only way I can think of that possibly happening is if there was, like, an expiration date on a ghost, but seeing as Robin's been there since the caveman times, and is still, that clearly isn't the case. So I don't think they'll all get sucked off at the same time, which leads to sort of my thoughts on how Ghosts should end. I think they should go off one by one. I was toying with the idea just before this of, should they all die? Should some of them go? Should they all go? And I think, because me and Parker were kind of having the discussion, I think if some of them are going to get sucked off, they all need to get sucked off, just to kind of have the massive impact that Ghost Series 5 should have. Now, I don't know whether we're going to... I was, yesterday, trying to figure out what order do I think the ghosts should get sucked off in. And I really couldn't decide. Like, there are a few... Like, the latter end of who gets sucked off first, I don't really have an opinion. It's when we get to the later end of what ghosts should be the last ones to go. And the ones that I really can think of as the three I think should be the last are Thomas, Captain, and Robin. Now, I think Thomas and Captain are probably more obvious as to why I'd say they should go last. Thomas is sort of, Alison's, I'd say love interest. Alison is Thomas's love interest. Thomas is like the, not poster boy of ghosts. I don't know how to say this, but it's Matthew Bayton. Like, he seems like the...
I thought you said Fanny should be one of the ones to go last.
I did. This is the thing, right? Because, again, obviously, Fanny is Mrs. Button. It's her... But I'm going to stick with those three. But Fanny should probably also be in that last lot. Captain is, I think, going to have the most emotional backstory. We already know all the stuff that happened with the war and with Havers, and there's thousands and thousands of theories of Havers and Captain being gay, and we don't know what Captain's name is. I kind of hope, this is connecting two shows that I never thought would be connected. I kind of hope what happens with Captain's names in Ghosts is like what happened with the fishing trip in Gavin and Stacey. So for those who don't know, very quick rundown. In Gavin and Stacey, Bryn and Jason, so that's an uncle and a nephew, go on a fishing trip. And something happened on said fishing trip. All we really know, I think it was legal in the country and it was very, very cold. That's all we know. And they reference it so many times. And we've had, as far as we know, the last we'll have of Gavin and Stacey, and we still don't know. Now, I think that should happen with Captain's name. I don't want to know Captain's name at this point. If they told us in Series 2, even Series 3, I'd have gone, cool, lovely. But now, one series to go, let's leave that as a mystery. Let's not find out Captain's name. We don't need to know, he's Captain. Where did we go to that tangent? How did we get there? Oh, who's going when? And my idea with Robin then going as one of the last is just, obviously he was the first there. It would be really nice to have him be the last to go. I did have a funny idea that I don't think they do, but I think could, if they did and did it right, it could be quite a funny end, is all the ghosts are sucked off. Robin doesn't get sucked off. And there's some sort of line about it being peace again, or like peace and quiet at last, and he's just there. And it's Robin's back on his own. Like, I don't think it will happen, but, it's fun to play around with these ideas. It's a theory. That's what they're for. But I don't think they'll all go at once, because that is just like having 8 emotional exits at once. We need time to say goodbye to each character. Hello? Yes. It's Parker time.
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
you can just see my forehead. Thanks. Hello, everybody. Yes. Also, before this video started, I gave Fraser my 2 pence on what I think would be a nice little funny ending. To Wizard of Oz it, to have all the ghosts sucked off. Sorry. And then to have Mike and Alison, like, couple years in the future, running the hotel that they always wanted, and have 6 idiots, Lolly, have Mary come back. No, that's not her name, I'm really sorry. As well, if she'd like to, that is, don't drag her kicking and screaming. Even Annie, and have them walk in, not all together because that would be bizarre, but have them walk in as guests to the hotel and have Alison see them and get quite emotional because they look like her friends. They might even act like her friends. And I just think it'd be really nice to have that moment of, the 6 idiots as human people, obviously not as themselves, because that would be like, oh, holy shit, the 6 idiots are in my house. I certainly would feel that way. But as human characters that look very much like Alison's ghost pals walk in and request rooms for the night, or demand breakfast, or I don't know, someone's clogged the loo. Julian, I'm looking at you. I don't know. I'm done now. Bye.
I forgot. I have to make this normal person height and not Smurf height. There we go. Hello, everyone. Hi, how we doing? So the last thing to talk about is my definitive, this is how I would like Ghost Series 5 to end. The final scene. Sorry, I'm still adjusting the camera while talking to you. Sorry, everyone. So, picture this. Alison and Mike have finally completed their dream. They have an Airbnb/hotel in Button House. What they've always wanted. It's lovely. They've got it all going. They've got the staff. They've got the kitchen. It looks lovely. And as part of a little add-on to your stay at the hotel, you can have a ghost tour. So I just think it'd be cool to have it finish however it finishes, all the ghosts are sucked off, whatever, and then you see like this many years later, a classic little trope, that little thing. I love it when they do that. And Alison is doing a tour around Button House at night, and it's like a ghost tour. And obviously she will know more than anyone about the very select group of people that used to live in this house. And I think it could also be cool if she's then like gone and researched further. I know we've seen her looking like Julian looked himself up, looked his daughter up, that sort of thing. But I think that could be cool, that Alison has gone, I knew these ghosts. Obviously, I'm not going to tell them I knew them, but I can give ghost tours and sort of they can live on through Alison telling people about them. I don't know. I think that could be a really nice way to wrap up Ghosts as a whole series. So, what do you think? How should Ghosts Series 5 end? Let me know in the comments, and we might do, if there's enough, because my thought, right, is my Horrible Histories videos do quite well. Who was in Horrible Histories that was in Ghosts? Well, literally everyone. That's the whole point. So hopefully this video does well. And if you have an idea of how you think Ghost Series 5 would end, let me know in the comments, and we might do a fan favourite theories of some video along those lines where it's sort of fan picks for how Ghost Series 5 should end. You can like the video if you enjoyed it. You could click here and you can watch all my Horrible Histories videos. If somehow you've watched this one before them, go watch them. You can click here and watch some SpongeBob review, SpongeBob musical review, from when I was lucky enough to go and see it in Plymouth. You can subscribe up here. You can watch a podcast down here with me and my good friend Jay.